Well, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part two of the giant bin. As you can see, I have made progress. Those two bins over there are full of the castings, and I got more castings here. So we're going to continue the harvesting of this casting. I'm doing it by hand. I tried to do it with the brush, which I love to do brush sifting, but sometimes when it's too wet like this, it just makes it really hard. Doing this with a brush when it's drier, just it's a lot easier. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod, and you're going to do this with me. Okay. All right, let me see. Okay. You could see that really well. So I'm finding a lot of cocoons in here, like we're talking tons. And a lot of young worms. So they've definitely been reproducing in here and having a lot of youngsters. It's cool to see like what they do, and the little ones are just so little. When they're born, they have this little pink hue to them, and they're almost transparent. And that's the difference between a potworm and a worm. A potworm will be white, but a baby worm, even though it's like the same size of a potworm, will always have that little pink hue to it. And that's how you can tell the difference. If you manage to get a potworm and get a baby worm side by side, you can tell the difference by looking at them. And you know, when in doubt, just get that little baby and just look at it really close and just see. And I'm sure you'll pick up on that eventually. You know, all these things, they just take a lot of experience and learning, and you know, it just takes time. When I first started this, you know, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And trust me, I killed many a worms because of my lack of knowledge and lack of experience. And of course, you know, there was very little internet I could have reached out to, and so, but you learn by getting your hands in there and just figuring it out. And if something happens, just learn from it, learn from your mistake, and just keep going. Don't beat yourself up. It happens to everybody. The biggest worm farmers in this country, the most successful ones, I'm sure have killed worms too, you know, accidentally. Plus, sometimes, guys, you can't help the weather. You know, a couple of years ago, we had an ice storm here in Indiana, and it was like, I don't know if it was 10 or 15 below zero outside, and we had an ice storm. So here in Indiana, we have these storms that they're called ice storms, that they cover literally everything in ice, like a 1/4 inch of ice on every surface outside. Like you can't even go outside. You can't drive. You can't walk on your sidewalk. Nothing. So basically, you're trapped in here. And we had one of those. They usually happen around January. And my house got so cold. And I'm in a finished basement. My wormery is downstairs. Even though this is finished basement, the walls are insulated. My furnace just couldn't keep up. And even though it warmed up the upstairs of the house, down here, it hit about 55, 57, something like that. And I lost a lot of my African night crawlers. African night crawlers are those dark worms that I show you that have that little hue, you know, purplish color. But they are very cold sensitive. And the poor little guys, you know, they just couldn't handle it. I didn't lose them all, but I lost a lot of them, like the majority of them. And, you know, it took me a little bit to bring those bins back to what they were. It took me a few months. But, you know, that was something that was just out of my control. I couldn't control the weather. I just do the best I can when things like that happen. So I try to raise my African night crawlers in the spring, summer, and before autumn, or by the autumn, I sell them out, and I don't have any more till the following spring. Only because, you know, it's a lot of work raising worms and feeding them and housing them and everything else. And then I don't want them to die. You know, that was a sad moment for me. I was very upset. So I learned my lesson with that one. I mean, you can't control the weather, but you know, now I have a space heater down here if I really need to, but I don't like running a space heater and leaving it alone. And I don't spend the entire day down here, so it's probably just better that I have them, you know, through the summer season. And that's what I have right now. So it happens. Nothing you could do about Mother Nature, you know. Nothing. I know a lot of worm farmers this time of year are very busy. Very busy. So it looks like I'm making some kind of progress here, but this stuff is so wet. It's like compacted. So it's like it's taking me longer. But, you know, I get to do this and I get to talk to you. And I know you all saw the survey I made. And, you know, thank you for your support. I really appreciate you guys. And I'll do my best to add the CC. I know people like for me to put different languages on there. The thing with the languages is it doesn't let me do it from my phone. I have to like go to my computer to do it. So that's why sometimes it takes me a little longer. I wish YouTube would allow the app version to add languages. Maybe that's something that they'll do in the long run. So I'm going to do that. So anyway, I'm going to continue with this. And then I'll bring you back. So what am I cooking today? Well, today I have a turkey roasting in my crock pot. If you've never made a turkey in your crock pot, try it. You will love it. The meat turns out so moist. So I have that going, and we're probably going to eat it with a side of vegetables and maybe a little salad. Father's Day is coming up next weekend, so I'm going to see what Joe wants, because even though we can go out to eat, Joe prefers my cooking, and if he wants to eat something special, like something he's been craving for, or, you know, just in the mood for something like that, then I'll fix it for him. And of course I plan ahead to get all my ingredients, you know, but that's what we're going to do. And I don't know if we're going to go anywhere. It's his day, so I leave it up to him. So that'll whatever we do, I'm sure it'll be fun. We can either go somewhere or we can stay home and play games or do whatever. So yeah, this stuff is wet. So when I start seeing a lot of worms, like I hit a pocket right here, I go away and do something else, and I give them a chance to go down, because the light will bug them and they'll be like, no, we want to be in the dark. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm starting to see a pocket, so we're gonna give them a chance to go back down. So I'm curious to know like what's under here. So even though I can keep taking from the surface, I want to spread them out and just see what I have, and then maybe let them go down again. And you know, so I don't know. You think I should? I'm dying to do it. Okay, let's do this. Oh, I feel a lot of squirm. Oh my gosh. Wow, look at them. Let's spread them out. So I've been putting them in this corner here. Come on, let me focus on this. Let me spread this out a little. So I've been focusing on this corner here. No, this one. I'm looking at the camera, I'm sorry. And then I'm sure a lot of them are here. So let's dig and let's pull this up. Oh my gosh, look at that. Ah! Wow. Wow. That is a nice sized worm. All right, let's spread them out. It's just, look at this pocket. That is massive. Look at the yellow tail. And look at the African nightcrawler. What a difference. I love it. I'm going to spread them out. And I'm going to let them go down. Let me put this back over here. And let's put a time lapse on this so we can see them all go. And you got to hurry because they go fast, you know? Let's create a worm meatloaf. There we go. Meatloaf time. So this is a method that I've come up with that just drives the worms down and you just scrape it off the top. So I call it a worm meatloaf because it kind of looks like a meatloaf. I mean, look at it. Ding, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I've had a lot of coffee today. All right, guys. So basically the light's going to drive them down and then you're going to go like this. If you see a worm, don't go there. Come over here. And I just keep going down until I see worms and then I go to another corner. And before you know it, you're all the way down. So it's a fun way. You can do this with kids. I think kids would absolutely love to do something like this. You like these quick little time-lapse videos? I love doing them because when I play them back, I love watching them. And it just amazes me, like, whew, how they go down. Do you know that there is one light that worms cannot see? And I play with it usually around the autumn, Halloween time. And you can try it if you want to see. It's red light. You can put red light on them and film them and they will not see red light. I don't know why. They just don't. That's how I created my last Halloween video with that fake fish. I used red light. And yeah. They cannot. How'd that rock get in there? There was a pebble in my bedding. It's because it came in the peat moss. So yeah, they can't see red light. So get a red light flashlight or I don't know, whatever. Light bulb, whatever how they have it, and try it. I just use a light bulb with one of those metal hoods. And yeah, they can't see red light. A lot of people didn't know that. And it's interesting to play with, especially if you have kids or you want to do your own experiments. It's fun. It's fun to see them. It's like you're spying in the dark, but yet they can't see you. And the light doesn't bother them, so you can film, you can whatever. Just remember to have other ambient light around you off. Let the red light be the only light. And you watch. So I'm going to put these up for sale. So now you're probably wondering, what am I going to do with them while I put them on my website and put them up for sale? Well, I'm going to get a smaller bin. I'm going to create some bedding, and they will live in there until someone buys them. And I'm going to sell the whole batch. I'm going to do adults and the young worms and the babies, all that are in here. I'm not going to separate young from small or do anything like that. So next month, I'm going Bigfoot hunting. And I want to ship these out, obviously, before I go. So it's a great bundle of worms to start with, especially if you want to see what the different species are and what they look like and how they behave. So you have to get on my website. I'll put them on thegardenandwormlady.com. And trust me, when I put things like this up there, they don't last very long. They just don't. People take advantage of that opportunity. And, it's my pleasure to have it on there. Because I'm not keeping them. The last time I did this, Damien in Georgia bought them. He's a friend of mine, him and his wife, Vanessa. And he loves worms as much as I do. And he went on there and he snatched up the last bundle I had. So we're going to keep going a little more with this. I'm not going to go crazy and get every single crumb. But I will flip it over so you can see what it looks like underneath. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Press that subscribe button. I would love to reach 20,000 subscribers or more. Right now, I believe I'm a little over 8,000, which is amazing. I remember the days before I was below 1,000. Share with family and friends. If you guys like crochet or crafting, I have another channel called Cultivates Crochet. And I will link that down below. And I appreciate your subscription there also. And that one, I'm trying to reach the 4,000 public watch hours, which, let me tell you, it is not easy to accomplish these things on YouTube. But, they don't want it to be easy because they want people to make an effort, to put in an effort and actually do the work. So, and I'm all right with that. I've never been a quitter. And I don't plan on starting anytime soon. All right, I'm dying to flip this over. I just want to see what I have. So, ready? Oh my gosh, it feels so slimy down here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. When people say, V, what do you do for a living? Well, I play with worms all day. Look at that. Look at all the different types. Just, oh my gosh. I wish you could feel this. It just feels amazing. Whoever buys these worms, my gosh, you're going to be lucky. Lucky. I'm just curious to see my scale. Okay, let me put it on 0. Ah! With all this, with the bedding, it's 3 pounds. So, I don't know. I'm going to say, let's just say 2.5 pounds. I don't think there's half a pound of bedding, but, you know, I'll just say that's 2.5 pounds. That is pretty amazing. I mean, look at them all. Wow. So let me get their bedding ready. And I'm going to show you a special way that I do that so that they can stay happy until they travel. So do you guys want the bedding, this bedding with your order? I mean, it has cocoons and all the little youngsters in it. I think it's a bonus. You let me know. All right, so I'm going to set up the worms in this bin. So what do I have here? I have coconut coir. I have oyster shell as a grit. And yes, sometimes it's powder, sometimes it's not. I have put it in like this, and with the moisture and then working it, eventually it just disintegrates. And I'm also going to add a little bit of dolomite, even though with coconut coir, honest to God, you don't need it. But I'm going to add it anyway. That's about a pinch. And then I add azomite minerals. So this bedding is fairly wet, but that's how breeders like it. So now I'm going to take my worms and I am going to add them. Come over here. This is like the biggest mountain of worms. Look. Ah, it's like playing with spaghetti. They're going to be really happy here. Especially with the leaves that I put. If you noticed, they're leaves. And they are absolutely going to love this. They'll munch on the leaves. There we go. So anyway, remember, press that subscribe button. And I'm going to give them a chance to go down, cover them in bubble wrap, and put them on the shelf. And I'll see you next time. Take care.